good evening, good morning, or good afternoon, whenever you decide to listen to us. We do appreciate it. This is Tap 85, covering Fairyhouse on the 16th of January. Deck and Andy here. So, Deck, always with me. How are you getting on, Deck? How's the form?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. I'm looking forward to cards over the next 2 days, not just Fairyhouse, but Clonmel tomorrow.
Yeah, we're recording here on a Tuesday evening, just after 9:30. So we'll touch on Clonmel at the end, but the main focus is going to be the 7 race card of Fairyhouse. A lot of novice hurdles and maiden hurdles really on the card, but going to be informative nonetheless. Look, we need to touch on Tap 84, Deck, because you had it off. So what's the? I say the bank account's looking nice for your trip this weekend. So well done on all those winners.
Yeah, sure. Look, I suppose I won the prize of a pizza and a glass of wine anyway. So,
at least.
That was a good day. It's always nice when it comes together. Probably hasn't come together as much for us this season as it did last season, but that was nice. It was nice to be there as well. You know, and you get the shouting home in the stands. It's good crack. So, a lot of people sent messages in just saying that they won a few bob and well done, you know.
Wedding cakes paid for and all sorts.
Words
of the comments.
I always think well done to the people, because like we just talk about it. We don't actually have to back them where you're going and putting the money where you're nowadays. It's a bit different. So fair play to you. If you did, anyone who did the treble or even the 4-timer, fair play to you, and go and enjoy it.
Yeah, so we had Mr. Giff obviously winning the beginner's chase under a brilliantly timed ride by JJ Slevin. There was a reason why he got that job, I suppose. Really looks like a really nice horse. Maybe a bit of improvement in him up and trip, possibly. He could be. He strikes me as a type of horse that could go well in the Fairyhouse Grade 1, maybe. I think that could be a nice Powers Gold Cup type of horse. Yeah, because he was just. I wouldn't. He wasn't outpaced, far from it. But the way he hit the line hard. Totally agree. And obviously, not many people were flagging the Dan Moore winner back in October, November time, but the King of PRs, and that was your kind of a trademark winner on the weekend, Deck. So well done. He did it nicely too. You didn't see the run of, was it Midnight? It is, was it? I think in third.
I didn't see him till late on. I hadn't got my eye on him, but
major eye catcher.
Okay.
Major eye catcher. I think obviously it was the King of PRS's day. The Midnight It Is could be the Dublin Racing Festival over 2 miles, could even be the Grand Annual knowing Gavin Cromwell.
Is the race at Fairyhouse at Easter 2 miles the one that Captain's nephew won?
It is. Yeah. That could be an option for him as well. So he's already won around Fairyhouse as well, I believe. I think, what was it, Punchestown? No, I'm pretty sure it's Fairyhouse. That was last year. We hadn't seen him in a while. He bolted up on his penultimate start, was a very eye-catching third. And also, I hate to say it, I was wrong about American Mike, but he was an eye-catcher as well at the same time. I'm veering on a dangerous cliff edge there with American Mike. Maybe
Where does he go?
The 2 mile 5 handicap or the May Maya Fleet or whatever it was, whatever it's called now, the plate, isn't it, at Cheltenham? Could be maybe one of those 2 races for him. I'm convinced he'd be able to win a race off his mark. He's the talent's there. I just
is
don't
he a
know.
bit of a nut job?
Could be. He absolutely could be.
He's definitely something. Yeah, there's something there. Personally, I think the race the race in November might have been a bit of a mess, and it might have been a bit of a mess early on, and that's how he ended up leading. And he was everywhere. He filled every position that day. It was quite a peculiar run, but it might have been the gallop they went or the lack of.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'd have to watch him again. I wouldn't be as brave as you right now, but I could be talked into it.
Yeah, well, look, Gordon Elliott hasn't really been a man to target the Dublin Racing Festival over the past few years, and given his Grade 1 entries, it doesn't look like he's targeting it again. He has had a bit of success in the 3 mile handicap hurdle. Obviously, Maxim winning that last year, but he seems to be at Christmas time or Cheltenham Festival type of. After the year start this season, you're whatnot. I think it'll be interesting wherever he goes. Like I said, people start.
I've lost you, Andy. I can't hear you.
All right, hold on one sec
Yeah,
now.
I hear you now. Yeah, I hear you now.
Okay. Well, yeah, I was only rattling on about American Mike being possibly basically a Cheltenham horse, maybe, as opposed to a Dublin Racing Festival horse. But time will tell. Anything else, Deck? Who else do we have? Obviously, the bumper winner. On Tomper.
The Thompson.
That one, yeah. A lovely ride. Was it Lavery? I think rode it, was it?
It was Declan Lavery. Yeah,
Lavery, yeah.
Look, I was kind of.
You were playing with house money well and truly at that stage, anyway.
Before they turned in, I was like, sure, look,
yeah.
at least we got the treble in. Like, I didn't want to be greedy, and then he started to pick up, and he was coming, and that was a nice one. Now that was a good one to show home.
Yeah, and I am forgetting one, haven't I?
There was
Mr. Gift, King of PRs,
Noble Bert, and
Noble Bert. Yeah, Noble Bert, obviously, and he was nicely backed favourite. Beat Banjacks no less in. So I'd say that form is trustworthy for the grade. With that said,
there was kind of never. It's nice when you're waiting on one and there's never a moment's worry.
No, there was no worry whatsoever.
Comfortable the whole way around. So, but enough of this. Talking about last week's winners. Now they've been and gone. So we need to find a few more over the next 2 days.
That's a fair point. I will give a quick mention to 6.5. It was very impressive in the Mare's Maiden hurdle as well. I think she's Cheltenham bound for Gavin Cromwell. Gavin Cromwell tended to avoid his novice hurdlers that were mares. He tended to avoid Cheltenham and go to Fairyhouse, but it looks like this one's going to Cheltenham, and she wouldn't be without a chance. Thought she was really, really impressive, actually. So yeah, you're right, Deck. We could sit here and bask in. Well, mainly your glory. You had the winners, but no, we can't bask in the future, or bask in the past, because those live in the past are certain to miss the future, Deck. So let's go on to the 12 o'clock on Thursday. The Fairyhouse for fundraisers beginners chase. It's over 2 miles, and look, it's an average enough beginners chase. I'd say there's a bracket on this one now. It's probably like a 120. I think it's probably 120 or less over hurdles, would it?
120 or less, yeah.
Yeah. 120 or less. And Cade Boy, a few years ago, he wouldn't have been allowed to run a race like this, but he is on his way down. Thought he ran well the last day. He is a 10-year-old now. He'd be one that I'd be very interested in for a handicap chase, but maybe not a race of this nature. Union Station would obviously wouldn't be without a chance. The form pick is probably Theatre Native, based on her third behind Only by Night on her chasing debut. That form has been kind of taken to the next level. Mirazor West ran okay for a part in that grade 1 on his next start at Limerick. Westport Cove, I thought, ran fairly well in the race won by Mr. Giff, splashing out a beaten favourite, I think, on his next start. Conyers Hill, the horse that was 6th as well. Possibly a nice horse going forward if he can improve on. He's rated 124. I don't think that marks a gift, but it does kind of show you the strength and depth that was in that beginner's chase that day. So with that said, Deck, who is your fancy for the opener?
I wouldn't be overly keen on anything, and I've looked at this a few different ways. Like Union Station would be likely enough raced. A 6-year-old. He was 10 lengths forward over hurdles off 120. So, as you could argue, he's the best horse in the race. The Dam did win a point-to-point. He's been placing maidens, placing all his maidens, I think, 4 of them. And then, like as you said, Tita Native, I reckon she'll open up favourite. She is 7. She was third on her chase debut. The chase she ran in is probably the deepest of any of the beginners that any of these horses ran in. It was won by Only by Night. Then you have Mount Sinai, who was 5 lengths off Judice Alain on her chase debut. Judice Alain, actually, she's followed up just running down Kintor Calanisi, unfortunately for you, Andy. But
Kintor Calanisi ran down himself that day. I'm pretty sure.
I think I'd be prepared to give St. Faz a chance. He was
All right.
third in a listed hurdle off 116. He was third in his chase debut. He was 4 lengths ahead of Connors Cross, who's in this race. Look, it's not the most interesting of beginners' chases in the world.
No.
And there's lots of different angles you can take to it, but I'd be tempted to try St. Faz now if I was going to have a bet.
Right, yeah, well, Henry de Bromhead is, well, you could argue he's bang out of form now, really since smack bang the turn of the year, essentially. He had a decent enough Christmas, but the second the clock went to 2025, I don't think he's had a winner yet this calendar year. I could be wrong on that, but I don't think I am. I think he's still without a winner this calendar year, unless he had a winner today or yesterday at Punchestown that I'm completely missing, but I don't think he did. Anyway, but I do think Theatre Native is the form pick. She does have a hood on. This represents a significant drop in class from her chasing debut, in my opinion. As I said, the sixth horse that honed that day is right in a 124. Wouldn't be allowed running a race like this. Now you can argue whether is he worth that rating, obviously. And then the other one you mentioned there, Deck Union Station. This has a classic look of it. He's obviously 120 rated hurdler. You said he's probably the best horse in the race. And there's every chance that if he's going chasing, they probably think he's better than 120 over fences and hurdles. You could see him winning this, getting into the 130s over fences and then coming back hurdling off his mark of 120, which is in the bank there. Obviously, Clonmel did it at a lesser level with Jouster. I'm sure Russell Sullivan's done it with Keandana. It's a tried and tested formula at a level. And it is something that you do need to keep an eye on. But still, with that said, I do think the form pick is Theatre Native. I'm just not convinced. I can't go in at the likely price she's going to be given the stable form at the minute. But she is the form pick, in my opinion.
Henry's last winner was Ballyadam on New Year's Eve.
So I was just about right. Yeah, okay, yeah. So literally, as I'd say, they were all out celebrating the New Year's, and they're still
celebrating.
They're still celebrating, yeah. Still celebrating. But look, as we know, Henry does come back with a vengeance, and it won't be like a hint of coming back. He'll just rattle off a treble or a 4-timer somewhere, and then Henry will be back.
Is it by design that
it's by design?
Yeah, and they're not going to be ready for the Dublin Racing Festival, obviously, because I'm going to run there.
Well, again, his most exciting novice, or up there with his most exciting novice, Work Ahead, didn't even get an entry. He's going straight to Cheltenham. I could do a podcast on that in its own right. I don't like horses. I don't mind it, I suppose. I prefer watching when horses are novices. I'd rather see them get as much experience as possible. Because I think 3 or 4 runs as a novice can come back to bite you when you get into open company. And we've seen that dozens and dozens of times. I could give you multiple examples of that. But look, anyway, I'm not a world class national hunt trainer, so I should probably keep my mouth shut on that one. So it's going to be Theatre Native for me then, Deck. And who are you sticking with? You're going to go with St. Faz?
It's St. Faz, yeah.
Yeah, very good. Right, on to the half 12. Book your Easter early bird tickets handicap. Peter Rowe, if you're listening, send us a few tickets our way. Now we would thoroughly recommend though the Easter Festival at Fairyhouse. It's brilliant. My personal favorite is the Easter Sunday. I do. I think that's a fantastic card. Really enjoy it.
Yeah, I love the Sunday, and I love the Powers Gold Cup or whatever. It's the Willow Worm Gold Cup or whatever it is now. But National Day at Fairyhouse is brilliant, and it's iconic. And if you haven't been, you need to get to it. And they will races usually as wide as they can, and you can literally touch the fences, and there's some sound of 30 horses crashing over.
It's unique.
It's you need to go. You need to be there, and like if the weather's good, which we do have sometimes at Easter, you'll even see people having picnics and all. It's like I'm being brought since I was quite young. Back when you could go out to the course, and or some years we wouldn't even go in. There'd be lots going on outside. There'd be bookies outside. You didn't have to go in, but we often did go in. It's always been a great day. It's our biggest race, and it's a great buzz when you're there. Even last year in the rain, it was just a great buzz about the place, and it like that. I'll use the word again, buzz. Like it is buzzing that day. The noise from the stands, look, I'm not mad on the singing before the national that gets going, but
each to their own, I suppose.
There's a different atmosphere there, and it is our race. It's unique, and if you haven't been, go and take it in.
There you go. Couldn't have said it better myself. And look, we'll probably do another sweepstake on the show because that was good fun last year. Hopefully we get a full field though. So I have to do refunds last year. That was
you have to give people a no, it'd be well worth doing. I think people enjoyed it, and we enjoyed it as well. It was good crack and
good fun, and especially when intense raffles.
We'll try find you the winner again.
Yeah, no, that's a plan. Hopefully, if Kinturk Kalanisi gets one more run into him and learns how to not stop himself in front, he's the one you want to be with. But anyway, Dec, we do need to summarise the Book Your Easter early bird tickets handicap chase, which is the 12:30 on the card. The one we dream of, obviously, for Gavin Clonmel, he always has to be fair at this level. Jumped the shark, a winner on his penultimate start, but then laid an egg on his following start in. Probably hard to trust as well. Look, this probably doesn't look like the strongest race in the world in terms of form. But then again, something has to win it. So who do you see winning this?
I'd really, really like Tankerstown Diva here. Even though she got £2 for falling at the last at Down Royal. And
she did, yeah.
She did. The winner won well. I was very, 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 very keen on One Night Standard that day, and she was only third, and she wasn't going to be second. Tankerstown Diva was very, very unlucky in that, and that £2 I don't think is going to stop her. There's nothing really jumping out other than that. Maybe Treo Eile is top weight, I think. Maiden winner, fourth over 111 off 111 over 3 miles. This is his handicap chase debut, but I'd be keen enough now here on Tankerstown Diva. Like the winners won well in the end at Down Royal and probably laid out for the race as well. So you probably say like it's only £2 she's getting, and I think she'll be able to cope with it. She's what age? She's
Tankerstown Diva. I think she's 7.
She's only 6.
Oh, she's 6, is she? She's 6. Okay.
Only 6, so she's definitely a mare on an upward curve, and she's quite likeable. But I don't think the £2 would be enough to stop her.
Right. The one I came down on was one actually you like, Clonbury Bridge. You probably lost your patience with him a little bit.
No, I think I gave him a chance the last day, but
you did. Yeah,
but 9 or 10 now, wasn't he?
He is. He's 9 now. Look, Midnight it is won the race impressively, and I was only saying that how much of an eye catcher he was in the Danmore. Second was Follymaster, who obviously went up in trip and won on I think that was New Year's Eve. Could have been New Year's Day. I think it was New Year's Eve. Cheerful Chap ran okay at Limerick on his next start. And then a horse that I have a lot of time for was beaten 10 lengths that day in 6th, Money Heist, too. I think has plenty more races in him when we do see him in the springtime. Look, I just think that was a strong enough race for the grade. He's been dropped £1. He's consistent enough, largely. He could be vulnerable for win purposes, but if he's an each way price, I'd give him a chance. Because he's going to run his race, I think. But I do take your point with Tankerstown Diva, and that's something I would usually do as well, Dec, if you really fancy one and they're beaten fair and square, just usually trust that you've read the race correctly and that the other two are just significantly better. Trust that you're on the right form line. Back One Night Standard the next day and maybe follow the race. And that's kind of, I see what you've done there anyway with Tankerstown Diva, so I can completely see where you're coming from. That's an interesting pick. On to the 105 then, Dec, the Easter Festival, April 19th to 21st. Are really driving at this Fairyhouse. Peter really driving the sponsorship here.
If you haven't been,
if you haven't been, we've already just played a speech from about 5 minutes ago again. Absolutely. The Irish national, Irish heritage, and Easter Sunday, a great day out as well. In a nutshell, 5 runners here, Dec. I'm a big fan of Philip Rothwell's Rocky Mountain Blue. I think he could be a little bit better than this grade. When it's all said and done. Obviously, he was an unexpected winner of a maiden hurdle at Punchestown, beating Sounds Victorious, which is strong form. I think Sounds Victorious could be a lively enough outsider to Dublin Racing Festival. And look, he was given far too much to do on third to Kitzbühel. in a open hurdle. That wasn't actually for novices. Colonel Mustard was second. We will see Beckett Rock Wednesday. Yeah, we will see Beckett Rock Wednesday as well. So I think that's really strong form. I think he takes the beating here, Deck. What do you think?
Yeah, I do too. He's clearly quite talented. As you said, he beat Sounds Victorious. Whether anyone knew that was going to happen or not,
Well, he was 40-1, so I'd say there's a few looks. What do you do?
Might have taken Philip by surprise, but look, come here, lovely surprises to have, and he possibly a horse that shows nothing at home, and then gets to the racetrack, and you know, is a proper racehorse, and you wouldn't mind being, if you train one, being surprised like that, even if the money wasn't down. So as you said, then he was toward the Kitzbühel. Yeah, look, I agree with you. He's probably better than this, and he's a horse going under the radar a little bit, just not very popular, and I don't know. And look, Philip's been amorous, and I don't think there's been a day where I've been at the races where Philip hasn't stopped for a chat. So I do hope he has a really, really nice one here. If he is going to be vulnerable to one, maybe Goody Four Shoes. He's only had 3 runs, but I've been behind the likes of Ironsey, James's Gay, Joystick, Will the Wise. Like, obviously he was behind Ironsey and James's Gate when they won. Joystick and Will the Wise have followed up. He's been behind the right horses. This would be technically handicap debut. It's kind of, you know, it's not a handicap. It's kind of like a mini handicap. But yeah, look, I think and I hope Rocky Mountain Blue could be quite a nice one and just better than this. So I do think he win, but if there is one he's going to be vulnerable to, it'd be Goody Four Shoes.
Yeah, and he's ran 3 nice races, Deck, actually, as well, as you mentioned there.
I just worry, were they too nice? And,
no, I'd say this is a sighter. Like, there's some really nice novice handicap hurdles coming up. Like, as we mentioned, the Easter Festival at Fairyhouse, there's a 2.5 mile novice handicap hurdle, which Goody Four Shoes will be absolutely perfect for.
And if you haven't been, get yourself there.
That's it, absolutely. Anyway, that's fair enough. So both of us on the Rothwell trained Rocky Mountain Blue in the 105. Yeah, like Peter was probably in flying form now, naming these races, because he's booming his own track again. We've had this before. We've had so
well deserved. Well deserved.
Yeah, no, very well deserved. Very well deserved. Fairyhouse Racecourse of the Year 2024 Maiden Hurdle. I'm pretty sure it was Racecourse of the Year in 2023 as well, because we've covered it in the past. So
no, it was just before Christmas, the awards, didn't he? The HRI award.
Yeah,
as you said. One of the meetings just after where every race was Racecourse of the Year. Just
Racecourse of the Year. Fair play. Yeah, absolutely. It's the 140 on the card. It's a maiden hurdle over 2 miles. Yeah, look, it's probably not, like, we're probably getting to the stage now where the maiden hurdles start calming down a little bit. It might be a bit later this year than it has been in previous years, obviously, because we've had a dry winter. So it could even be, you know, end of January, start of February, when we kind of see them calming down a little bit. But look, I'd say it's going to take a nice enough horse to win it. Kiss Will probably going to be the one everybody is kind of, I wouldn't say piling into, but I'd say he's going to be the likely favourite by a Polish stallion, Tunis. Interesting one there. Standing in France now, but I think it was a Polish bred before that.
Is sprinter. Did we not see him running in Britain? Or am I completely making this up?
I hope not, because he's a gorgeous looking horse. I'm just looking him up now. Actually, a big grey yoke. He was a hurdler, no tie. Yeah. I think we brought him up before on the show. I think you're right. Hello Jack, also another interesting runner. Obviously by the Derby winner Wings of Eagles, trained by Gordon Elliott. Look, those two are probably going to dominate the top of the market. Gavin Cromwell obviously has Shinane. I think I'm going to go. It's an Irish. Shunnan, probably Shunnan actually. Yeah, you're probably right, Shunnan. And a good fair play to Gavin as well. Dr. Dino starting off over 2 miles. That's the way it should be. Good man, Gavin. Deck, who do you like here?
don't really like any of them. Any Case Wales obviously second in that race in France, only a 5-year-old. Glenn Sensation. He beat Oscar's brother in a point-to-point, and Oscar's brother won the Grade 3 novice hurdle at Cork earlier on in the season, but it was very, very disappointing in the fog in Leopardstown, I think.
You think?
Literally just looking at the result. And can't comment on how he ran other than he finished down the field. So there might be a very good reason for that, and maybe it's an absolute good thing on Thursday, but I don't know, I need to see more. Hello Jack was third to Kella Star on debut, another 5-year-old. I definitely won't be having a bet in this race.
No, neither will I, I'd say.
If you force me to find a winner, I'd say it could possibly come from any of those three, but I'm not going to advise anyone to back something in a race where I have no interest in having a bet in it.
Yeah, and there's not even many in here that are like waiting on a handicap mark, you know, like they're all kind of just at the start of their career. Yeah, it's a race you probably have to revisit in 4 or 5 months, to be honest with you. I'd say it's between Kisswell and Hello Jack with the experience. I'd say you could I'd say Kisswell is going to be a pretty short price. I don't envision having a bet in that myself, to be honest with you.
I have some issues if you're interested.
Yeah, what?
Have some
tissues. Go on. What are they?
Well, it's actually interesting. Kisswell 11 to 10. Shunon, if I'm getting that right, is 4 to 1. Hello Jack is 5s. But if you want to take a chance that maybe the horse did stop and have a shot down the back straight at Leopardstown in the fog and none of us seen it, Glen Sensation is here at 50s. So like he did beat Oscar's brother in the point-to-point. He's won a Grade 3 hurdle at Cork.
Yeah.
Possibly a
diabolical Grade 3 hurdle at that now, but yeah, still a Grade 3.
Yeah, well, he still beat a horse who's won on the track, and he's going into a poor enough looking maiden hurdle here. So
yeah, no, fair point.
He is 7, needs to get moving. If you were getting that sort of price, I suppose, look, to have a couple of euro each way in him, wouldn't you? And hope he runs a big race. Yeah, no,
that's a fair point. Onto the 215 deck. It wouldn't be a midweek tap without a Mare's Maiden hurdle, and that's the Hey How Are You Mare's Maiden hurdle at 215. Again, probably not a whole heap to write home about here. Swing Davis with 2 placed efforts to her name behind Future Prospect the last day at Fairyhouse. Beaten favourite though that day. Probably a little bit disappointing. Look, she's probably going to be a short enough price to make amends here. You know, and obviously we've working on a dream who's already rated 110. You wouldn't imagine that's going to be good enough. It will be good enough to win a maiden hurdle later on in the year, but probably right now it's probably going to be a little bit short. And Brora River, point winner last time out, only a little over a month ago actually. But that was a 6-year-old point. Probably not going to be worth the paper it's written on that form. So, Deck, do you think this is a Swing Davis finally getting off the mark here over hurdles?
No, I think 109 might be enough to take this.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, look,
Look, cut her some slack here.
You are?
110 she's actually rated now. She might have gone up standing in her box.
Sure, 109 here on Irish Racing.
Yeah, you had me in stitches. I suppose that's fair enough form. Like she was she got a paragraph written about her for her second at Clonmel by the stewards. Very interesting run. She followed up at Limerick. Saying here 110, but anyway, 109, 110. You think that's going to be good enough to win?
Well, look, I'll side her experience. She's had plenty of goals. She was second at Christmas too. That horse you mentioned, you had me in stitches.
Yeah, me in stitches.
Dottie followed up the other day. He was in behind, and that was in a handicap. But looking at it, I think it's a poor enough maiden. No disrespect to any of them, but there was nothing jumping out at me here, and nothing really to excite me. So I'll side with experience, and I'll go with working on a dream.
All side with having a point in the bar, I think.
Yeah, like again, not advising anyone to have a bet. I probably won't, but
yeah. Look, this is kind of the theme so far, but we promise you that Deck has one. So do stick with us. Do stick with us. Yeah, but no, I do agree though. This isn't a betting race in any shape form, really. I think Swing Davis should be better than 109 or 110. To be honest, but I wouldn't be confident though. She's already been beaten short price already, so yeah, I'd be kind of avoiding that. Next up is the 250. It's the jump into January, even though we're halfway through January already. Maiden hurdle. It's over 2.5 miles. Again, as far as maiden hurdles go, Deck, this isn't really amazing. I see there's a Son of Idaho in here, quite interestingly. Quantum Quest in the double green colours. JJ Slevin riding for Henry de Bromhead. Interesting enough, I suppose. Ran okay, I suppose, on his it was behind Shuffle the Deck, I think, but that's not a bad run. Fishery Lane, I think, was beaten at a short price the last day. And then there's Along the Way, who was a bit of an eye catcher now, behind Magic Boom at Navan. He travelled into that race really strongly and just didn't necessarily pick up. It was a faller early on behind Butch Cassidy on his hurdles debut. So while you're rummaging through,
I'm listening to Andy. I'm just I'm nearly out of power.
You're near. Oh, it's all right. I'll keep rambling on because I think this is going to be an interesting race. All right, okay, you're back. I'm going to go with the Eddie Hardy horse Along the Way.
Okay.
I know the betting could tell me, I could seal my fate quite early here, but it was an eye-catching run behind Magic Boom, as I said, at Navan. He is quite an enthusiastic. He has an enthusiastic way of going about things, but I definitely think he has a talent there. And that was a pretty. I wouldn't say it was the strongest maiden hurdle in the world at Navan, but like in terms of this race, it's strong enough form, I think. So it'd be Along the Way for me. Deck, who do you like?
Quantum Quest, 5-year-old. Third Shuffle the Deck. The Son of Idaho. Third to Shuffle the Deck in a point to point, and fifth to Shuffle the Deck on his hurdle debut. Look, I think it's not the best form in the world, but I think it's fairly solid form. You've had Eastern Legend in there who's ran second in the grade 1. Bones on Fire, I think is the name of the horse, who placed again the weekend. It's not. I'd say they'll all be decent yardsticks. They'll be world beaters, and I'd say that the form is solid without setting the world alight. And I think, look, I'd be keen to take on Fishery Lane, who he'll be favourite, will he?
He should be, yeah, but I'd be completely in agreement with you. He just didn't look the most straightforward really the last day. So
what did he run in the champion bumper on debut? And
he ran well in the champion bumper. I think he was fifth in it. I think very testing ground is what he wants. I think he wants that now, but like, he was beaten by In at the Park over 3 miles. Like, I hate horses that start over 3 miles. You already know that. I don't think you're a big fan of it either.
No,
he's going back to 2.5.
It's
telling you, yeah,
they can't jump.
Yeah, exactly. I really, really hate, and I know Lecky Watson started at that, and that's why it took me a while to warm to him. But I hate when they start at 3 miles. And I'd say the ground could be lively enough.
Could
be. It's currently soft, but I don't think there's any rain due, so it could.
I don't think it was that soft now on Saturday at Fairyhouse. Punchestown was a lot more testing than Fairyhouse on Sunday, but they were under snow all week in Punchestown. Fairyhouse is probably just frozen, so maybe it wasn't an awful lot of moisture, but I don't know. Peter's very good at putting out the updates.
Yes.
On how much part he's putting on or what they're doing with the track. So I'd say it could be lively enough. Peter's not here to tell us. If he is listening, he might put something up in the morning
He
before things open up and people start gambling.
We'll retweet him.
Yeah, we will.
As
Yeah,
usual.
he is
Love
actually
going
always
for
very good to tag us in a lot of posts, and we do our best to reshare them as much as possible. But yeah, I'll take Quantum Quest 5-year-old.
Okay.
As I said, we're that far we're out them being world beaters. So I'd say it's solid enough, and I'd say be able to use a lot of those horses that ran in that race at Naas to work out whether another horse you're looking at as well, handicapped or not.
Yeah, no, you probably will. I'm going to stick with along the way for Eddie and Patrick Hardy. I thought he was a bit of an eye catcher there on his last start. I think he's good enough to win a maiden hurdle, especially one of this caliber. Right, Deck, probably the main event for you. The Fairyhouse supporting Treo Eile handicap hurdle. It's a 0 to 100. It's 2.5 miles. Look, when you fancy one, I'm just going to sit up and listen. I'm not going to even attempt to, because I don't actually really fancy anything, to be honest, in this race. But I know you really fancy one, so I'll let you take it away.
Well, in the Christmas taps, I did say she was probably my bet of Christmas until you informed me she was number
86 on the ballot.
Yeah, something
one of my favorite moments of Christmas. I'm sorry, but it was good.
And I had actually it was the day that Warden's Whisper was second at Cork, not long before Christmas. I just said to keep an eye on her, and that I think she'd win the day after that. That's why she was my bet of Christmas. I didn't think she was going to run as well as she did at Cork. She was back off a break. It was her second handicap, and she stayed on for fourth, like behind it, the 3-year-old Robbie's Dream, I think, and Warden's Whisper was third. Like, it was everything you wanted to see. It was too much of what you wanted to see. But it
was a lovely run.
It was a lovely run.
Look, yeah, you're right. The step up in trip here is going to be significant, isn't it? Really,
exactly. She's up in trip, and Warden's Whisper has been second again. So, look, I do think she's a good thing here. If everyone can just wait,
not back it yet. Just wait,
just relax. Wait till the day of the race or lunchtime the day of the race or something. It's not until 3:25. Let the connections get a few quid on, right? Because you've all been taking their prices and they've been having to change their mind on things like this. So if you just keep your powder dry, don't get excited, because it only takes a couple of 5ers and 10ers as soon as the prices open the night before, start shortening that price. So
pile into it, yeah.
Just relax. And,
take a pull. It's probably the best thing to say.
Yeah, take a pull. She'll be single figures. She'll definitely be single figures. Like I don't know, 6 to 1. She might be shorter. It was too nice a run the last day, but I think she'll win.
Well,
have we given her name out?
Did you? I don't think you did. We've got Leah shouting in.
Everyone knows. Everyone. You have to go back. You need to go back and watch the Christmas tap. Get us a few extra views on that. It's Heidi's Frontier.
Heidi's Frontier. Imagine we went through all of that and then didn't give the name out. Brilliant. We should have done that. We should have stuck with it. I'll edit out Heidi's Frontier and then I'll edit out that bit as well. Yeah, right. Right, Deck. You have a few for, as I said, we're recording Tuesday night. The early bird catches the worm with these ones, but Clonmel Wednesday, you have a few selections there, Deck. So if you want to go ahead with them.
I do. Look, I just had a look through the card. I actually had a look last night, and it was a card we were going to cover last week or the week before, Andy, was it?
It was cancelled, yeah. This is rescheduled there.
We covered it last year, and we kind of joked about maybe we were the only podcast ever to preview a maiden hunter chase. So I've had a look at it again. The Lonesome Boatman has opened up short enough, and I'd be keen to take him on. Not that my point-to-point form is. I certainly wouldn't look at them now as much as I've looked at the North 95s, which are now North 100s over the years. But
yeah,
there's two of them I like, and there's one of them I'll side with. Fountain House, he's been fairly prolific now in points. He was second over the banks at the festival, but I'm going to side with the younger horse in Milan Fort. He's a 6-year-old. He's been second to wing leader the last day, but he's 3 from 5 before that. In point to point, so I think the two of them might be overpriced against the favourite. It was probably too short. So
he's ex-Martin Brassel, is he? I
think so. Is he?
I think he is.
A Mulryan horse?
He was. I think he was a bit of a hype machine. Was he? Did he? No, maybe he wasn't actually. No, it could be actually. I could be being very unfair there.
But he was a Ballymore horse, wasn't he?
He was. Yeah, he was.
Yeah. We move on to the Treo Eile. It's handicap hurdle over 2 miles and 1 furlong. Again, look, there's two here. Maiden, fourth and handicap debut. We mentioned Morden's Whisper again. He was in third, but the one I really like here, and it was one I mentioned over Christmas, and another one who didn't get a run, so maybe worth doing that little double. The Green 13, he was out the back on handicap debut. I think we're going to see a much improved performance, and probably good that the horse either they made a decision not to run over Christmas or didn't get in, because you're probably coming here when it's a little bit less competitive, and he's only a 5-year-old. You have to remember the 5-year-olds were 4 a couple of weeks ago, so they might still need to strengthen up a bit, but I do think the Green 13 will give it a go. And then the 340, another handicap hurdle over 2.5 miles, another one I'm very, very keen on. I'll be almost as bullish about this one now as Heidi's Frontier. It's Misty Milan, again out the back on handicap debut. Stayed on without ever really threatening an open trip again. I think the ragged of fail now, but I think could be a good bet tomorrow in the finale.
14-1 at the minute, yeah. You might get bigger elsewhere. I'm only looking at one bookmaker there, so.
What 18s and I checked earlier.
Okay.
But, we'll let the connections get a bet on.
Let the connections, as I said, guys, take a poll and have a bet near the off.
You will just stop putting these out.
Yeah, we'll start releasing podcasts 10 minutes before the off. Imagine that. Very good. Well, that brings us to the end of Top 85. Good fun, all in all, and a nice little card of Fairyhouse. As I said, their Easter festival, well worth getting to.
Sorry, Andy.
One more time.
I must mention the race Heidi's Frontier is running in. I am 99% sure it's the race that Jouster fell in last year when he was going to absolutely.
Don't say that.
I'm fairly certain it's the same race, but it was cancelled. It was postponed last year and rescheduled.
Right. Okay.
But we picked them out for the race that was postponed. But look, we were unlucky last year, so we deserve a bit of luck this year.
A bit of luck, yeah.
The business.
And the last few podcasts have been going swimmingly. Top 84 is a good success. Our Christmas handicaps were decent. So yeah, let's just keep the momentum up for Top 85. A few winners in there. Nap at the top then, Deck. Do we have one? I suppose we were both sweet enough on Phillips.
I suppose. Yeah. Look, everyone knows how bullish I am about the couple I've mentioned towards the end there.
Yeah.
But I suppose a nap at the top would have to be Rocky Mountain Blue. Yeah.
Yeah, unless you're happy for me to completely follow you in on Heidi's Frontier. If you're that confident about one, you could make that the nap at the top. I don't really mind. If you're that confident.
When you put one up, you said it earlier, you need to stick with your task.
Yeah.
I thought she was my bet of Christmas. Unfortunately, there wasn't 85 horses ahead of her to come out in that race at Limerick. But look, that was the last race of the Christmas, and it's the last race on Thursday. So maybe the stars are aligning.
Hopefully, doesn't do a Waterford Whispers on it. The last race at Cheltenham, but anyway, that's Heidi's Frontier then for Deck. If anyone does want the nap at the top, the one we both agreed on the most was the 105 at Fairyhouse, Rocky Mountain Blue for Philip Rothwell. The top weight there under Tiernan Power Walsh should be a little bit better than that grade of horse. Tiernan Power Roach, yeah. What did I say?
Walsh, I thought.
Walsh. I think I said. Well, look, I'm not going to be. I could have said. Yeah, Tiernan Power Roach. Right, that brings us to the end of Top 85. So just keep liking, sharing, subscribing. Let us know your thoughts in the comments as well. And until the next time, which I will probably be after Deck's nice weekend away, with all his winnings.
We might get one in Thursday.
We might get one in on Thursday. You're right. Yeah, for the weekend's race, we won't leave you straggle for the weekend there. And then Deck can from his villa that he's after renting for his weekend. Hopefully getting a few winners. But until next time, guys, all the best and bye bye.
Cheers.